Hey, my name is Christian Bellafato. I've been a product manager for 15, 20 years. Most recently, I was at Meta for a couple of years. I worked in Gen AI infra, and then I worked in VR for a while. Before that, I've been at Zillow, Microsoft. I worked on Skype for a while. I've been at a bunch of startups. I've been in B2C. I've been in B2B. Kind of done it all. And over the last like 3 months or so, I have been genuinely like eyeballs deep in AI. So I'm currently building an AI coach for hybrid athletes. So hybrid athletes are like the new craze, right? High rocks, Nick Bear, run long, lift heavy, that kind of stuff. So I have wanted something that would program for me and learn me and get to know me that I can talk to, like a personal trainer, basically. And so that is what I've decided to build. And my goal here is to maybe share a little bit of what I've learned along the way, both with AI. Yes, of course, we're all interested in AI, but also just like as a product manager, giving people a window into my brain and how I think about crafting and shaping product. So during this video, I'll give you a quick overview of the app that I'm building. I'll give you a quick tour of my setup, what I have going on, all the tools that I'm using. And then we're going to get in and actually we're going to fix some bugs and make some improvements that I've noticed over the last couple of days while I've been using the app in my gym. This is probably going to turn into a series. I think I'm going to call it like the vibe coding ride along, or the much less catchy AI assisted coaching ride along, where basically I just jump into this product, which I'm building anyway, turn on the camera, and whoever's interested can just join for the ride. So grab yourself a beverage, settle in. It's gonna be a long one. We're gonna knock some stuff out together, and you can see how I think about crafting and shaping product as a product manager, and also how I'm interacting and using Claude. So anyway, without further ado, let's dive in. I'll show you what I got going here. So the first thing I'll show you, though, I'll give you a quick tour of the app. Here it is. We're running in a simulator right now. I'm running React Native under the hood using a framework called Expo. So in the background here, we've got a terminal up. This is Metro running in the background, which is compiling down into native code, running in the Xcode simulator. What's up on the screen right now, I have for today, this is my today program. You can see I'm in the today tab. I got a program tab, coach tab. Today I was programmed lower body strength, and I did a Norwegian 4x4 workout. If you tap in, just really quick tour, you've got all the logging here. So the coach will program the exercises. The logging will vary with the exercises. You can mark your sets complete. You can edit if you had to change your weight. If you hit a different RPE or a different rep number, like you can edit all that and then mark your sets complete as you go. You can complete your blocks, so on and so forth. We're not going to go too deep right now, but I just wanted to give you an orientation. One other thing that I should share, there's a ubiquitous coach bar at the bottom. It is an AI first program, or it's an AI first app. And so really the kind of beating heart of the app is the AI coach. It's not a workout tracker with AI injected into it. It is an AI first experience. So genuinely, like, we'll show you another time, but there's a whole onboarding experience, which is like your first session with a personal trainer. What are your goals? What are your injuries? What are your restraints? What are your equipment? What are we working with? How many days a week can you train? How long can you train? Those kinds of things. So it really is an AI first app. Anyway, today I got a boatload of bugs that I've found over the last little while. What I've been doing is I'll take the app out into the garage and work out with it. And as I'm going, I'll find bugs, like organically, right? And I've been taking those and putting them into Apple Notes because that's kind of what I've had access to. I realized today, though, I should take those and move them into Obsidian, because Apple Notes is not AI first and not AI friendly. And frankly, now that the more you live in the age of AI, the more frustrated you become with things that are not AI first. So I'm a little frustrated with Apple Notes right now. So what I did was I grabbed all of my Apple Notes, all of my workout notes from Apple Notes in here, copied them, I pasted them into Claude, and I said, hey, format this, clean it up, and put it into a markdown file with a table. So I also use Obsidian, and I'm not going to go into each of these tools here. I can do that. Let me know if you're interested. I'm happy to do that. So this is Obsidian. Obsidian, in its simplest form, is a program that reads Markdown files and makes them look pretty. They're basically human readable files, right? Markdown is first and foremost a way to format documents that are human readable. It just so happens that Markdown is also really easy for AI to consume and create. So anyway, I'm using Obsidian here, and what I had it do was I had it generate a Markdown file. We'll jump over really quickly to my my folder structure. So this is Cursor, and what I've got here in Cursor, this is the file structure that I'm working in. These are where I view the documents, and then this is the terminal. So I like them side by side for ease of readability. In terms of documents, I have sort of the organization of things is I have one high level Uber PRD, which you'll see here. This is really where we have, kind of classic brief, like vision, problem statement. This is product strategy stuff, problem statement, vision. I have structural pieces of like, what is the overall kind of user experience, UX architecture, the interaction architecture. What are the design principles? What are the tenets? Because this is a coaching app, right? And so we have a little bit of philosophy injected into this. So that stuff all lives in the PRD. I have a technical design doc, which is the corollary to the PRD, the technical one that has documentation of the choices we've made, the tech stack, the architecture, the project structure you can see down here is in there. Claude generates all these documents. I don't write these documents anymore. These documents are mostly for documentation. And then I have specs. Specs are where I go really deep on specific interactions or specific features. So like right here, this is what I'm calling the post-block feedback and like adaptation spec. So like after I complete a block, there's a moment where the coach gives me some feedback, and in that prompt we inject the whole workout, the targets that were prescribed, the actuals the user hit, including like RPE. Right, so we can tell, like, did they do the prescribed weight, but were above RPE or below RPE? So the coach will give feedback, but more importantly, that is the adaptation step. That's the point where the coach goes, like, whoa, was I like way off on this? Because if I was, I'm going to regenerate the week. So that whole interaction is rich and nuanced and has its own spec. I use specs for documentation, but I also actually use them for thinking, like. As I'm brainstorming with Claude as a thought partner, we're using the document as a living source of truth so that we don't lose track of the open questions, the decisions we're making, the shape of the product, right? I've also found that periodically I will want to, before I go to code, I'll want to jump out and actually prototype something in like a lovable, or now I think Claude is actually doing React inside the chat, like the browser-based chat experience. My wife was just showing me an app she's working on, which is wild. So I don't have to go to Lovable anymore. So yeah, anyway, that is the overview of my setup, my config, the tools that I'm using, and the app that I'm building. So right now, I'm going to knock out some bugs. So if if this is interesting, hang out. I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do like a bunch of these. We'll do new feature work. We'll do some bug bashes or some bug fixing. Really, honestly, just let me know kind of what you have ideas for. Like I said, I'm doing this anyway. I'm going to build this app. Got a bunch of people that think it's rad and want to try it out. Let me know if you're one of them. I'll have it in an alpha soon. But yeah, apart from that, feel free to just kind of grab a beverage and hang out. So we're gonna rock out with Claude. Cool. I was just working on some timer bugs that I found, and actually, while I took my kid to swim, I was playing with it a little bit, and I noticed it's a knit, but like it seems to abbreviate things like, I think this is supposed to be, what is it? Accessory. I think this is accessory. So like, there's really no need to abbreviate that. We have plenty of space there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that screenshot, I'm going to drag it in here, and then I'm going to use Whisper Flow, so you'll hear what I'm saying to Claude, and it should show up on the screen. Let's see if it works. Cool. Is that working? Yeah, rad. All right, let's Control L out of that. So for those of you who don't know, Control L clears the terminal. That Short that hotkey was a godsend. It's amazing. All right, so I noticed in this screenshot we seem to be abbreviating things where we don't really need to. Where is that abbreviation coming from? Is that a constraint we're putting on the model, or is that something we're doing in processing? So this is like how I work with Claude. Like I seek to first like understand, and in doing so, I find it helpful because Claude will inherently do some planning. One of the things that I've found is that Claude is oftentimes a little quick to just like, it's a little trigger happy. It'll kind of jump to like writing code when really like we should take a beat and think it through. And it's not just me being a feeble human. It's like it will do. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. That's coming from AI. Aki is what the model generated as the focus string for the strength block in the mesocycle. It's stored in the program week. Field and rendered. We're not truncating or abbreviating anything in the UI. The model just chose to abbreviate accessory as Aki. The fixes in the mesocycle generation prompt. We had guidance like useful words and focus labels, not abbreviations. Yeah, add it now. Because I don't want to forget it. I don't need to tell the model that. I'll tell you that. So yeah, and kind of along the way, I massaged the prompts a little bit. What it's referencing here, it mentioned a prompt review pass. So in the backlog, I do have prompt review pass as a P0 for our alpha. This is the alpha working list of tasks that need to get done. Cardio active workout screen I started earlier. The Metcon active workout screen I still have to do. We've got some other hard-coded stuff in here that I'm using as I develop, just to like test things like supersets to make sure they look okay. Frankly, I could probably soften that now. They look sharp. Workout generation prompt review. That's what we're talking about now. Basically, you have to go through all the prompts. And so earlier today, I had to do a refactor because it had a single ai.ts file, which became monolithic. It had logic and it had strings, all kind of bundled together. And so I had to create a dedicated set of prompt files and folder structure for that, so that it's really easy for me to go in and I can actually look at the prompts and hand edit them where appropriate and Claude edit them where not. So done. Replace short focus labels with explicit no abbreviations guidance. Short focus strings. Oh, that's interesting. You know what? So like, this is an example. Hold on. Generate the mesocycle, return only a compact valid JSON objects. No markdowns, no extracts, no explanations. Use short focus labels. I'm actually going to have it be less prescriptive. Let's be less prescriptive, and let's just remove the use short focus labels, because I suspect that is the problem. Yeah, remove the no abbreviation note. I don't think it's needed. I want the model to be able to use abbreviations, like RPE is an abbreviation, right? So we want the model to abbreviate. It's just we wanted to, like, this is where we don't want to give the model rules to follow, where we don't absolutely need to. So let's wait and see if it's broken, and then if it's broken, we can fix it. So I treat Claude like a human, like I talk to it like a human. I mean, I wouldn't quite talk to a human like that. But like by and large, I talk to it like a human. So, and you'll see like through this, exercise, we have certain design principles. One of them is to not give the model rules. We want the model to reason. Another one is something I've called warn and defer, which is like, basically if the coach wants to change something in the program, it should suggest it to the athlete, but not change it until the athlete approves. So basically, it puts the athlete in the power position, which is something that I believe is critical for this app. Maybe it's just me being a control freak. I don't know. Cool. Okay, so we removed the constraint, no replacement. Sweet. So that should take care of that. We got a couple things in here. I'm actually going to ask it, can you check the testing notes.md file and clean up the things we've done. So I'll have it go ahead and read the file, manage the file, and take care of those things. While it's doing that, I know that there are things that I haven't done yet. Timer shared across blocks, we took care of. Coach reacts timer, we took care of. See, it already adjusted those. Coach confused about workout date. In the coach chat, if it thought the run was completed yesterday instead of today, instead of being programmed for today. I have a screenshot of that on my phone. Actually, I don't know why I just did that. I don't like that. Because I was in the field and it's bolded. So, all right. So what I'm gonna do is this is something I'll do. I'll be working out. I have it right now. I have it running in a simulator. But when I go into the gym, I run it on my phone. Most of the time, I actually run it on my phone. Right now, for simplicity, though, I do not have it running on my phone so that I can show you. So let me see if I can find the quote from the coach here. I don't, but let me go into my coach chat history. 55 minutes. Let's see. Solid strength, block, Christian. You're thinking of single leg hip thrusts. So one of the value propositions of this whole thing is the ability to like really adapt the program. And so it gave me some stuff that frankly, I think it could have done a better job in the programming in the first place, which is something I'll work on. But like I asked it to sub an exercise. So I can regenerate at any level. I can regenerate an individual exercise. Which includes, changing the weight, changing the reps, changing the RPE. I can regenerate an entire block, like a strength block or a cardio block. I can regenerate an entire day. I can regenerate an entire week, or I can regenerate an entire mesocycle. And I'm saying but actually the coach, the AI, has tools. We've equipped it with tools. And given it prompts for how to use those tools, how and when to use those tools. So we're letting the AI reason about when to use those tools. And those, like regeneration is a tool or a set of tools that it has access to. So let's see if I can find this quote. Yesterday's run got cut off at 9 minutes. Still don't have a clear picture of what happened there. I think it probably has something to do with checking in. We had a chat with the coach earlier. I completed a run block, or actually I voice dictated a run block to it. And I think it completed it for me. And then I realized when I went into the coach chat at some point, I hadn't done check-in. So I did check-in, but then it referred to the run as yesterday's run. Does the coach currently have access to a date field in the workouts and blocks when we inject them into the prompt? Oh, shoot. I got killed by Whisper again. In the screenshot I attached, you'll see the coach refers to, quote, yesterday's run, end quote. I did that run today. I logged it today, and the coach thought it was yesterday. I think what might have happened is I forgot to check in this morning. And so when I checked in, we prompted the AI responded, and then for some reason it thought the run was done yesterday. So I guess my question is, does the coach have access to the date that the blocks were performed or the workouts were performed that we're injecting into the prompt? It was verbose, but it'll work. You can't overthink it. I'll never get anything done. Let's see what it says. I'm super curious. Let's see. The recent sessions data includes data updates. The coach does see the date. Let me check what get recent sessions returns. All right, I'll let it do its thing over here. I might have to run a super base query at some point. All right, let's keep moving. Coach confused about workout date in the coach chat. Thought run was completed yesterday. Warm-ups missing. Yeah, that was interesting. So I like programmed warm-ups. And I used to have them up here at the top, but they're gone, which is not awesome. So I first noticed it in the cardio block, and I got to find out what's going on there. I found the problem. The context says today's block status, today's logged workout, lines 44 to 46, but never tells the coach what today's date actually is. Oh, yeah, of course. AI doesn't do time. I don't know if you've noticed this, but like LLMs have no sense of time. I mean, it stands to reason. They're stateless machines. They are prediction machines. They don't know anything really. They just predict the next token. So you have to tell it. You have to tell it date until we have a better infrastructure. Until Anthropic has some way to inject date and time into like every prompt or something. I don't know. So let's see. Coach now gets today's date. Wednesday, April 2nd is the first line of the context. Or AIs are embodied, which is terrifying. That anchors today's workout, today's block status, and recent session dates. Sweet. Okay. I'm not going to belabor that. I'm not going to test it. There's like certain things that I'll go and test, and then other things where I'm just like, whatever, like it'll come up again, just like just move on. This is one of those things. Now let's talk about the warm up. We seem to have lost the warm up in the strength block, and I don't know if we were ever supposed to get one in cardio, but it would be really nice to have one in cardio also. So I think that what we did was we fairly recently switched from using Sonnet to using Opus for workout generation. I found that Sonnet was just giving me these like really high variance workouts. Like, I would the same input every single time, and it would one day give me, front squats at 155 pounds, and then at like five reps for, an 8 RPE. And then the next day it would give me like 185 pounds at 5 reps for 8 RPE. So like it's just like totally non-deterministic, which of course LLMs are. But it signaled to me like, and I was back and forth with Claude for a while, and I was like, do we change the prompt? Do we try to be more prescriptive? Do we have to inject more coaching methodology? And then like I took a break. I walked away for a little bit because I was like really concerned about that because I don't want to go down that road. It's fraught. And so, and then I realized like, hey, why don't we just try using Opus, right? So let's like use the bigger model, use the better reasoning model. And so we're trying that now, and it's been significantly better than what we got from Sonnet. So of course it's more expensive too, though. So we have to be judicious as I go through, and like I'll throw Opus at things where Opus is warranted. For the things that aren't, I'll use either Sonnet or Haiku. Like I can't demo it on this screen. I'll do it another time. But if you notice while that's running, everywhere that the coach appears, there is a voice input. I believe firmly that we will all be talking to our devices. There's this really interesting asymmetry. It's faster to dictate than it is to type, but it's faster to read than it is to listen. And so I think we're all going to be talking and reading. And so anyway, that's the philosophy that I've built the app around. So you can voice dictate anywhere you are. So what we use Apple's native dictation, speech to text. And then, but it doesn't give you like punctuation. It doesn't give you contractions. It doesn't give you like, it won't correct misheard words. And so I take that and we run it through Haiku really fast, and it comes back and it gives you a much better result. It's still not perfect. It's something I want to tune, but that's deeper on the backlog. It's good enough. And like, frankly, when you put that into Sonnet knows what you're trying to say anyway, most of the time. All right, so let's see. What did it do? Wait, warm-up is already in the tool schema. Under the strength section, it applies to any block. Done 3 changes. Cardio block type, add warm-up string field. Cardio workout screen renders warm-up section between prescriptions and modality. You need to regenerate your workout to pick up. All right, so that's easy. I'll go to the coach, and I'll say, hey, I'm feeling my oats today. Let's get after it on legs. Give me something heavy. I don't know why my cursor just jumped there. Whoa. Oh yeah, that's a fun interaction in the simulator. Give me something heavy. And let's see what it says. Cool. Love the energy, but let's make sure I'm feeling the right session. It doesn't like vibe coaching, I guess. That's fine. You decide. I just want to go hard. Oh, I just love playing with my toys. Let's see. My drag handle's not working. I need to fix that because this is a pain to scroll. Here's what I'm thinking. Trap bar deadlift is the anchor. Double kettlebell front squat. RDL. Single leg hip thrust to finish. That sounds excellent. Superb. Let's do it. Let's go. Cool. So now what you'll see is watch the strength block up here. This is going to round trip presumably through Opus. I think most of the conversation's happening in Sonnet. I'll have to ask Claude if that's correct. I need to ask my TL. Let's see. Oh, and did you see? Did you see? How sweet is that? All right, baller. So let's get into this and let's take a look. There is my warm up. Sweet. Okay. Let's see if it did yeah, it did it. 10-minute easy jog. Now it's interesting though. I have a prescription here and I have a dedicated warm up section here. This used to be structured a little differently. This is clean though. I like it. It's good enough for now. I think I might want to snap to something similar here. In fact, I will. Let's get rid of the prescription label on the cardio workout screen. We don't have the same thing on the strength screen. We don't have the same thing on the strength workout screen, and I don't think it does anything on the cardio screen. And I know that like I'm speaking like it's verbose. Like I could have just said get rid of the prescription label, but I find that in talking out my reasoning with Claude, it will occasionally catch something and push back or give me the reasoning for why it made a decision that it made. And so I actually find it useful to put all those extra words into it. So let's see. In this case, it just agreed. So cool. Rock and roll. Feeble human was right. Right on. Cool. Do I need to regenerate or what? Because I should have picked that up. I'm still seeing it in my workout screen. What do I need to do? And sometimes I'll put like screenshots in. So the code change is saved, but Metro needs to pick it up. Try shaking your device and reload or press R on a Metro terminal. Let's hit the R button. Metro is incredible. Expo is an incredible framework. I am super impressed. There it is. Boom. I will say there are a number of gotchas. Like if you're, God forbid, you want to work anywhere except home, where you're on the actual home Wi-Fi network where you initially set it up. Do not set it up at a coffee shop. Do not do it while you're at home. But then when you go to a coffee shop, I find I have to tunnel. And like when I did the tunneling, it didn't work for a long time. I had trouble figuring it out. And now I have a skill that where I can create the tunnel over here because I like to be able to see the logs. If it creates the tunnel, I lose visibility. So I like to do it myself. I start the tunnel over here and I tell it to get me a tunnel URL and it'll get me a deep link that I open in Safari on my phone that launches the app and takes me to the correct IP. So it's sweet. It works. But like I will say there is friction. All right, let's do something more interesting now. Let's just pick off one more for the night, and then I'm going to shut this down. So the Norwegian 4x4 outdoor run. So this is a screen we just built. This is the cardio tracking screen. This is so if you're not familiar, Norwegian 4x4 is an interval protocol. It's 4 minutes of work followed by 3 minutes of rest. It's VO2 max workout. Basically, you're working at 90, 95, 100% of your heart rate. You're like really close to max heart rate for most of your work sets. So in this case, though, I noticed like the minutes, seconds is not obvious, I think, to anybody. It's not super easy to input. Now, the trade-off here, though, I want to separate those fields. The watts field, I think, is a little wider than it needs to be. Like, I'm a little leery of making this any more cramped than it already is. One could offer that I could drop the RPE field from individual reps. I don't know that people are going to need that level of granularity. We could just have an RPE field for the workout. But I kind of like the RPE for the individual set. So let's make a couple changes here. In the cardio workout screen, I'm looking at the Norwegian 4x4 screen, so the interval version. The time field is currently one field that's colon delineated. How about moving that to two fields? Let's do a minutes and a seconds field. And then also, what was the other thing I was going to do? Oh, yeah. The default for the Norwegian 4x4 is currently watts. But it's a rowing workout right now. Let's change it to outdoor run and see. Okay, it actually correctly adjusted. So the bigger problem is not that. I don't know if you noticed it, but the pills changed order. So if I go to back to, oh, I don't have the rower anymore. All right, that is a bug. Let's make sure we keep the order of the pills at the top the same. I noticed that pace, watts, and cals will shift positions depending on the modality. And one more thing while I'm in here, I changed from my rowing workout to an outdoor run. And then when I checked the drop down, I can no longer go back to rower. So I know that you said that this was an equipment limitation earlier, but it really appears to be a problem with the drop down. It's not pulling correctly from the equipment list. So I'll give it the 3 things to crank away at. I don't typically throw like 3 things at it at once, but I've found that it's gotten a lot better at tasking itself and not forgetting. And also, like, these are pretty small changes, so it really shouldn't be a problem here. I'm gonna let it do its thing for a minute. Three fixes. Let me start by checking modality issue. I suspect your super base profile still has the old equipment list. Before we added cardio gear, the dev skip was updated. Oh, I see. So what it's trying to tell me is that I literally don't have any cardio equipment in my profile. So I will have to, what I'll do to fix that or test that is I'll have it give me a super base query that'll basically inject cardio equipment into my profile. So we'll do that after. I could do that in a second agent up here, but I'll be honest, my brain doesn't multitask like that. I would just wind up spending more time trying to multitask and doing a poorer job of the things that I need to do. So now update the interval row rendering to use split minute seconds when the unit is time pace. Now find the interval rows. Sweet. Okay. One thing that I have found is it is worth paying attention to these things. Like as it's working, like watching what it's doing. I noticed another tendency, kind of a bad habit, is that it will sometimes take the hack fix that's quick, where there's almost no incremental cost to just doing it the right way, right? When you're building with AI. So what I'm looking for often is like, are you reusing components? Are you reusing prompts? Those are like the big things that I'm looking at, because as we're going, I don't want to have to, like, let's say we want to restyle. We have a drawer, this drawer at the bottom. If I want to restyle that, I want to restyle that once, and I want it to propagate like instantly and automatically. I don't want to run the risk of having like missing instances of the drawer because we were lazy and we didn't build it correctly. So, that's one place where it shows up. It also shows up in the. I can't show you the check-in right now because I did it for today, but yeah, we have a couple places where the drawer shows up, and I noticed it was building separate ones, and I was like, hey, can we just like make that a shared component? And it was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So keep an eye out. It will definitely hack. So all 3 fixes, modality drop down. The program modality is now always included in the drop down, even if it's not. It was already there. So I see. So it should be there. Like even if I change and come back. Pill order always pace, watts, cal hour, and time distance, regardless of modality. No more shifting. Interval time fields. When volume unit is time, each interval shows. So let's check it. We'll go in here. Time. Yeah, minutes and seconds. Let's have it. The column headers are not aligned with the fields anymore. Can you fix that? That's just sloppy. And also, like, the separation between the volume and effort is not clear anymore at all. Header rows in the column is same gap padding. Interval rows now have horizontal. There we go. In the current design, like with the current UI architecture, it's not actually obvious if you're running time and time side by side. that the left one is the volume and the right one is the pace. Like I know that you have the selectors at the top, but even those are not perfectly lined up. Before you build, what creative solutions can you come up with? So this is a case where I'm just gonna I'm gonna prompt it because I don't I could problem solve and I will problem solve with it, but like I just don't love the way this is structured. The connection is too tenuous between this and this. So what does it say? Row labels, a small volume and effort text above each column. 2-line header, color coding gives the volume. I don't want to use color. It's not great for accessibility and for other reasons. Inline unit suffix. Instead of using separate min sec headers, the input pairs get a trailing label, 4 minutes, 0 seconds inline. Self-documentation without needing to look at headers. Collapse to a single field for intervals. Maybe min sec is a single field. Oh, I think it misunderstood the problem here. Volume effort above each column. I'm not worried about the min sec headers. I'm worried about the volume and pace or intensity headers. It's just not obvious that like the left column applies to volume and the right column applies to pace because the pills aren't squarely aligned, like centered over the input fields. Does that make sense? And so I wonder actually, what if we put the label below? Nah, I mean, I don't love this, but like I'm going to throw an idea out. What if we put the label below? So the label is actually between the pills and the table of intervals. What do you think about that? So I'm actually going to ask it its opinion here because I don't know. And so this is a case where like I've thought a lot about, kind of what does the future of the triad look like dev, engineering, engineering, design, and product. Like there's very much a place for each of those roles still. Like, having an engineer who can ensure that this is actually stable. Like I'm super worried about when I take this to, let's say I charge $25 a month for this product. Like, is it built on shoddy infra? Like, is it going to be super fragile? Is I go to make changes? Am I going to break people? Like things like that. Am I going to risk data loss or data exposure? Like, I need an engineer at some point. And then on the design side, like there's so many of these interactions are probably, designers would look at them and just completely cringe. And so that could work. The labels would sit right above the data they describe, acting as column headers for the interval table. The problem is people don't read that way. They read top to bottom. So I still don't love this, but I might have to put a pin in it for tonight. So as you can see, even with AI, you still need to reason as a human. He also broke the column overlap. So first thing, let's go back to your suggestion about moving the min sec column headers out and putting them into the field. I think that makes a lot of sense. That's a pretty standard paradigm. Let's just do that for a minute so I can look at it. So right now I'm just going to have it do that so that I can at least get some of the noise out of the way and get rid of these column headers. Hopefully it does the same thing with RPE. Usually it's pretty good about like interpreting that and doing the right thing. Now add inline M&S suffixes to the split fields. Ooh, that gray on gray is atrocious. I'll fix that next. It already caught it. It's still too low contrast for my taste, but it might have to do for now. So I'm going to give it a knit here. It's a knit, but the volume and intensity headers, I forget what the other one is called, but the headers above the rows are no longer centered over the inputs. Can you fix that? So this is where I'll actually, if it's going to complain, I'm going to give it a screenshot of its own work here. And we'll see if it figures it out before I have to. There's 1 pixel difference. No, it's still, as you'll see in the screenshot, they're still shifted to the right. Oh, I sent it the wrong screenshot, didn't I? Thanks, Claude. I thought it was the one that was highlighted. I thought that was the new one. Silly human. I see volume and effort column headers. Yeah, there we go. Actual inputs. Simplicity to the left line. No. No, that looks worse. Frankly, these headers are redundant anyway, so if aligning them is that difficult, just get rid of them, and we'll figure out a different solution for the pills. And this right here you're witnessing is the glorious part of building product, really. Like, these are the micro trade-offs that have to be made. Like, these are the decisions, right? Your designer is making these decisions all day, like every day. Like, this is what your designer is doing. And I found, I'll make a video on this, but like doing this, building product with AI is making me such a better product manager. And like, it is giving me so much more empathy for my cross-functional partners, like so much more. So anyway, this has been cool. I'm sure most of you are asleep at this point. It's 9:16, so I'm about to fall asleep. But thank you for tuning in. Let me switch back here. Thanks for tuning in. I'm having an absolute blast. I hope it's coming across. And frankly, I really hope it's helpful. So, if this is interesting, like, hit me up below. Tell me, kind of like, you've seen this. Did this make sense? Were there areas of this that you want me to go deeper? Do you need me to like slow it down? Like, instead of speaking 140 words a minute, like, or whatever rate I speak at, like, but what would be helpful? What would be interesting? Should I slow it down and like walk you through the setup? Do you know what I'm even doing here? Like, yeah. So give me feedback. But as I said, I'm going to continue to make these like ride along videos. I think it's probably the best way for people to, I want to help people overcome the fear, and the overwhelm of like starting and realize that it's not rocket science. There's nothing really special. If people like me can figure it out, you can figure it out too. So yeah. Anyway, stay tuned. I'll have another one up soon. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Do all the YouTube things. But make sure you tune into the next one. Thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you soon.